Seminole Airport Authority. Roll call, please, Jay.
Stephanie Lambert.
Here.
Bill Wantland.
Here.
Tim Poplin. Eddie Patterson.
Here.
John Kramer.
Here.
Chris Anson.
Here.
Larry Church.
Here.
Corey Crabtree.
Here.
Jeff Griffin.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Consideration and action of consent agenda.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Stephanie Lambert.
Yes.
Bill Wantland.
Yes.
Eddie Patterson.
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Corey Crabtree.
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Do we have any appearances or petitions from the audience for the Airport Authority? Okay, with none, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. All right. That will move on to the regular meeting of the Seminole Gas Authority. Roll call, please, Jane.
John Kramer.
Here.
Tim Poplin. Eddie Patterson.
Here.
Bill Wantland.
Here.
Corey Crabtree.
Here.
Stephanie Lambert.
Here.
Larry Church.
Here.
Chris Anson.
Here.
Jeff Griffin.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Consideration and action of consent agenda.
Move its approval. Second.
Roll call, please.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Eddie Patterson.
Yes.
Bill Wantland.
Yes.
Corey Crabtree.
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Do we have any appearances or petitions from the audience for the Seminole Gas Authority? With none, I would again entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Moving on to the regular meeting of the Seminole Utilities Authority. Roll call, please.
Eddie Patterson.
Here.
John Kramer.
Here.
Chris Anson.
Here.
Bill Wantland.
Here.
Corey Crabtree.
Here.
Tim Poplin. Stephanie Lambert.
Here.
Larry Church.
Here.
Jeff Griffin.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Consideration and action of consent agenda.
Move to approve. Second.
Roll call, please.
Eddie Patterson.
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Bill Wantland.
Yes.
Corey Crabtree.
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Do we have any appearances or petitions from the audience for the Utilities Authority? Okay, with none, entertain a motion for adjournment.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? I have to say, I don't think I've ever seen a Utilities Authority meeting where we didn't have something to vote on.
Something, yeah.
That may be a first. Good job, way to save money today. All right, if we could call to order the regular meeting of the Seminole City Council. Roll call, please.
Chris Anson.
Here.
Eddie Patterson.
Here.
Stephanie Lambert.
Here.
Larry Church.
Here.
Tim Poplin. Bill Wantland.
Here.
Corey Crabtree.
Here.
John Kramer.
Here.
Jeff Griffin.
Here,
We have a quorum.
please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Isäga Messi ja Miska Hangeki Yodaki. Kymuksakken en kwietje de mego moment po tolfa Seminole moment poestio morgen. Iti nokitchikidis moment Jimmy Sagan Miska. O God, whose mercies cannot be numbered, accept our prayer of thanks for the city of Seminole and for all our people. Let us love one another, for you, God, are love. Amen.
Amen. Consideration and action of consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Eddie Patterson.
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Bill Wantland.
Yes.
Corey Crabtree.
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Motion passes.
With no items being removed from the consent agenda, we'll move on to elections and appointments. Consideration and possible action to approve the mayoral appointment of Danny McSpirit to the Lake Board for a 3-year term through June 2022.
Move to approve. Second.
And how
long has he served? He's got that on there since the 11th century.
Long time, long time, long time. And with that, we can just do a yea or nay, right? All vote, yes. All those in favor?
Yeah.
Those opposed? All right, move on to the next. Consideration and possible action to approve the mayoral appointment of Buster Wilcox to the Lake Board for a 3-year term through June 2022.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Those opposed? Do we have any appearances or petitions from the audience for the Seminole City Council meeting? Okay, with none, we will move on to approvals and acceptances. Bids, item 1, consideration and possible action to approve accepting the state contract bid price of $28,000 for solar school zone flashers and radar feedback signs to be installed on Highway 9 at the site of the new high school, a budgeted item to be funded from Series 2010 bond proceeds.
How many's involved in
How many signs are involved? It's just 2 of the solar signs.
that? 2 of them.
Yeah, just 2 of the now, what we're talking about is the signs that flash your speed as you're going into a school zone. They're actually gonna show what your speed is.
Some in both ways.
Yes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Chris Hansen,
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson,
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Bill Waltman,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 2, consideration and possible action to approve accepting the state contract bid price of $13,797.44 for a Grasshopper diesel lawnmower at the cemetery, a budgeted item to be funded from Series 2010 bond proceeds.
Move to approve.
Roll call, please.
Chris Hansen,
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson,
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Bill Waltman,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 3, consideration and possible action to approve accepting the state contract bid price of $13,386.35 each, or $26,772.70 for 2 Grasshopper diesel lawnmowers at the park, a budgeted item to be funded from the Series 2010 bond proceeds.
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Chris Hansen,
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson,
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Bill Waltman,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Under resolutions, consideration and possible action to approve resolution number 2019-07, a resolution notifying the public of the compilation and publication of the Code of Ordinances, including all penal ordinances of the city of Seminole.
Move its approval.
So, Steve, would you just explain what this is for anyone listening?
Yeah, Brad's done all the research, so I'm gonna let him get into the legality of why we're doing it this way.
Basically, we are required to codify our ordinances from time to time. In particular, our penal ordinances have to be codified every 10 years. Due to the fact that we have, it's time to do that, it brings everything up to speed, it's assigned a particular code number, and it basically notices the public that we have a fully codified code of ordinances that's up to date. All ordinances that have been repealed have been removed from our code of ordinances. Those that have been added have been included. Because we use Sterling codifiers, it makes it real simple for us, but nevertheless, we always want to try to pass the resolution notifying the public that we're up to speed and up to snuff on our ordinances. So we do this from time to time. Now's the time to do it. We're ahead of the game, so that's the reason the resolution's put in front of you.
Thank you.
Let me just add to that, for years, the ordinances were not codified. Because I remember I was asked to do the first codification of our ordinances, and we had ordinances going back to 1910 that were not on the list. So this is very important.
Thank you. I believe we had a motion.
Yes, I made the motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Chris Hansen,
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson,
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Bill Waltman,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Under current business, consideration and possible action to approve the request from Central Oklahoma Community Action Agency to close Main Street between Broadway and Oak Streets on Saturday, August 24th 2019, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. to allow for a street dance.
Move to approve.
Second.
Do we have a responsibility for ankles that get turned on that rubber street?
Only, no. Most of them will be break dancing, I
Yes, sir.
assume. and-
Don't wear high heels.
Yeah.
I would recommend.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson.
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Bill Waltman.
Yes.
Corey Crabtree.
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 6, consideration and possible action to approve the annual renewal of the softball lease agreement with Seminole Public Schools.
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson.
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Bill Waltman.
Yes.
Corey Crabtree.
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 7, consideration and possible action to approve the annual renewal of the lease agreement with the Seminole Girls Softball Association for use of the softball quad.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson.
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Bill Waltman.
Yes.
Corey Crabtree.
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 8, consideration and possible action to approve the annual renewal of the lease agreement with Seminole State College for use of the Oyler Park baseball field and equipment.
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson.
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Bill Waltman.
Yes.
Corey Crabtree.
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 9, consideration and possible action to approve city staff to solicit quotes for a used one-ton truck for the line construction department at a cost not to exceed $25,000, and to allow the city manager to authorize accepting the low quote. This is a budgeted item for fiscal year 2019 and 2020 to be funded from Series 2010 bond proceeds.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson.
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Bill Waltman.
Yes.
Corey Crabtree.
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Motion passes.
You want to go through reports before we go to the executive session, so we can finish it, or you want to go to executive session and then?
Let's go through the reports.
Okay, moving on to reports. Well, I would like to give kudos to all those involved. The chamber is one group, but all those involved with the 4th of July Independence Day celebration. The weather was great. It was a great temperature. There was a lot of people. Great crowd. No, there wasn't any problems as far as I know. I mean, I didn't see any problems. It was great, great show. I've heard a lot of people comment about they really liked the fireworks this year, and it was just a lot of fun. So, congratulations, you finally got weather to cooperate. The other thing I would like to say is talk a little bit about social media. You know, I don't get on a lot to look at comments, but sometimes I do. But what I do like is the fact that we have citizens that help clarify items that maybe aren't clear or people don't understand clearly what's going on. To them, I want to say thank you, because being able to have those that understand what's going on and know maybe the whole story, and to be able to share that helps get the true story out and helps really everyone understand what's going on. So thank you for being part of that. With that, I would move to the city manager.
Do you want to say anything about the lieutenant governor? Okay. You're too humble to say, but we did get to meet with the lieutenant governor and the director of the Oklahoma Department of Commerce today. They were in town to visit Enviro Systems. It was a great visit. They are very, very enthusiastic about what is going on out there at Enviro. We continue to see growth out of one of our major industries. There are over 200 employees now and growing quickly, just about as fast as they can hire people. So great story, great backstory. I may embellish a little bit, but I believe Enviro Systems was at the Paris Air Show, and Kevin Stitt, Governor Kevin Stitt, comes by their operation and says, hey, how would you like to do business in Oklahoma? And they said, we do. And he said, really? Any way we can help you, we will. So that kind of preempted and prompted the visit by the Lieutenant Governor and the Department of Commerce. So it was neat, and I think they stand ready to do whatever's necessary to help Enviro grow. I wanted to mention that we do have the results back from the old swimming pool radar test. We think we've got a handle on where the voids are. They are not substantial, they are not as substantial as we might have feared. We don't know yet. We're going to have to get an engineer to tell us exactly how much it's going to cost to fill those voids and to repipe the old swimming pool. So we're still underway, but we're making progress on finding a way to at least get a price on what it will take to renovate the old swimming pool. So bear with us on that. Last Tuesday, I believe, this last Tuesday, we had a meeting of the Planning Commission. At that Planning Commission, the charter school was authorized to place temporary school buildings around the Armory. The Academy of Seminole, also known as Taos, has leased and executed a lease with the American Legion to lease the old Armory for their next school year, perhaps 2 more school years, depending on how long it takes them to build their permanent structure. Part of their plan indicated, I think there's 6, Sharon's not here, but I think there are 6 temporary buildings around the facility, and that was all approved. It didn't require any city council action, but I did want to brief you, so when you see it pop up there, you're aware what's happening. They're very excited. Last we were told, I think they had 304 students signed up with about another 85 on a wait list. So that's happening. I'd mentioned to the mayor we probably soon need to have a rates committee meeting, and it's been since Carol Fryer was here since we had a rates committee meeting, but we do need to start looking at some of the trash service rates that we have with WCA. When Jay and I went through the budget this year, it was pretty clear that we were not performing, at least on we weren't very far in the black, if any, on the residential. So we're doing, or even the commercial, the only one we were doing all right in was the roll-off trash service. So at some point, we need to have our rates committee meet and discuss that. Let's see, the rest of it I think is going into executive session. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Steve. City Attorney?
Nothing.
Okay. Well, we'll go to remarks and inquiries of the council members. Ward 1, Bill Walker.
I want to say, first of all, I'm very thankful that this 4th of July, we didn't have rain. It was a beautiful time, both the 3rd and the 4th, and we're very thankful for all that went on. It was a great, great, great time. And again, I would simply say that we are very blessed with all our staff and employees of the city that do such a tremendous job all the time. And I don't know of any other city that's so blessed.
Ward 1, Larry Church.
I have to agree with you, Bill. Once upon a time, I had a job where I went to different towns and sold stuff to cities and towns in Oklahoma. And there were some of the most fun times. Because there would be fist fights and arguments of all sorts and in a lot of places that I went to. Seminole is just not like that. Our staff has things planned out well enough and organized well enough that we know what is coming before it gets here. And we have a good idea of what our future looks like, and that's because y'all do a good job. And I appreciate that. Now, how about those, women soccer players for U.S. soccer?
Yay.
I'm hoping that they get parity. They win, men don't. And one other thing I wanna point out, I just can't help myself. It probably, all of us feel like that there's a large burden on any society to help, for all the help that goes to poor people, the people who can't manage for themselves. And often I hear people talk about folks taking advantage of the situation. I just want to point out about IQs. The IQ bell curve is just a perfect curve. The middle of it is 100. So half of us are below average. Except in this room, of course, we're all below average. But the line that's drawn for an IQ of an individual that is borderline mentally handicapped is 84, 80 to 84, depends on what stats you look at. So just think about what percentage that is of society. Any way you cut it, it's at least 34, 36%. Or just on the margins, the top part that's just on the margins to take care of themselves, and the rest of them can't. So we step up to the plate. Seminole does a good job with food. We could do a little better with transportation and housing. But there is a large part of our community that devotes a lot of time, a lot of energy, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Ward 2, Stephanie Lambert.
I gotta say something.
Say I have nothing.
Oh, I did that last time, so can't do that twice in a row. No, I really do wanna thank, the police department, because this 4th of July was really peaceful. Either I've gotten better neighbors, or they did a really good job patrolling.
Your neighbors were my place.
Cause last year, we were up all night, like, from the 2nd all the way through the 7th. So, thank you guys for what you guys do. And I think that is all I have to say. And thank you guys for the 4th of July festival, too, it was very fun.
Ward 2, John Kramer. Ward 3, Corey Crabtree.
I don't have anything.
Okay. Tim Poplin's not here. Ward 4, Chris Hansen. Ward 4, Edie Patterson.
Just like to say again, that the fireworks are the best that we've had all, since I've been in Seminole this year. I don't know who all contributed, but we need to give them a big thanks and a pat on the back, because they were great.
Okay, with that, I would entertain a motion to, which is executive session do you want to do first?
Go with police first.
Okay. With that, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session for the consideration of possible action to enter into executive session under Oklahoma Statute Title 25, Section 307.B.2, discussing negotiations concerning employees and representatives of employee groups, the fiscal year 2019-2020 agreements with Lodge Number 138, Seminole Fraternal Order of Police, and the International Association of Firefighters, Local 2581.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll enter that in about 5 minutes.